But if you give me any more guff tonight, I'll rip your face off like a mad chimp.
Jim Carey has been forced to explain a bizarre interview he gave at New York Fashion Week just days ago.
What you're seeing now is a reporter being weirded out by Jim Carey, who was continuously walking in circles and later said this.
I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
And more shockingly, why would he say this?
I don't exist. So they're all characters that I played, including Jim Carrey.
According to many articles, Jim Carrey is going crazy, but is that true?
You know, Jim Carrey is a great character, and I was lucky to get the part.
Jim believes that he has been playing a character all his life. And playing this character, it all started at home. Jim was born into a poor family. At an early age of 15, he needed to work as a janitor to help them. They couldn't afford to pay rent, so they lived in a van and sometimes pitched tents at campsites.
It was a lot more messed up than I thought, apparently, according to the team of doctors.
Although it was a humble way to live, Jim enjoyed his childhood. But then his mother became sick. He needed to be an adult to support his family, and he discovered exactly how to do that by playing a character.
It's party time! P-A-R-T. Why? Because I gotta!
In that very moment, the Jim Carrey we all know was born.
It wasn't long before I started acting up. You know, people would come over to the house and they'd be greeted by a 7-year-old throwing himself down a large flight of stairs. They would say, "What happened?" And I would say, "I don't know. Let's check the replay." I'd go back to the top of the stairs and come back down in slow motion.
Jim tried his absolute best to make his mom happy and supported his family financially. Not long after, he became popular as an impressionist. A superstar was born. Out of his mother's pain, he tried to relieve.
I sent a little resume in and a list of the impressions I did, which were like 120 people at that time.
And when his mom died, it broke him. But he knew he needed to be strong for his father. By this time, Jim worked as a stand-up comedian. He loved doing it because it was his father's dream.
My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. I watched the effect of my father's love and humor and how it altered the world around me. My father used to brag that I wasn't a ham, I was the whole pig. And he treated my talent as if it was his second chance.
He made his dad happy, just like how he made his mom happy. But it was a life of constantly trying to make everyone around him happy. And when his father died, Jim decided to carry on and play for a much bigger audience. He worked hard to make the entire world laugh. He became Hollywood's king of comedy. His films became a huge part of our childhood, but while making everyone happy, he wasn't happy.
You, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me, because I thought I was just building something that people would like. But it was a character.
Playing the character most of his life, it started to alter his real self. It was slowly overtaking him. His life was like a scene that was difficult to determine when the fantasy ends and reality begins. And Jim only realized this when he reached the peak.
I am at the top of the mountain, and I was, and the only one I hadn't freed was myself. And that's when my search for identity deepened. I wondered who I'd be without my fame. Who would I be if I said things that people didn't want to hear? Or if I defied their expectations of me? I've often said that I wished people could realize all their dreams and wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to find your sense of completion.
All these realizations led Jim to find his true self, and he could only do that if he let go of playing the character.
That piece that we're after lies somewhere beyond personality, beyond the perception of others, beyond invention and disguise, even beyond effort itself. But To find real peace, you have to let the armor go. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world.
May this story remind you that before you try to please everyone around you, first you need to be good to yourself. Jim Carrey is not going crazy. He just stopped playing a character and became his own person. Finally, he stopped living his life for everyone around him.
I used to be a guy who was experiencing the world, and now I feel like the world and the universe experiencing a guy.
Because sometimes in life you need to take a risk and even be called crazy to fully embrace who you were always supposed to be.
Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory.